H-Teamers, welcome to Physics Labs. Alright guys, I'm so excited for you to try the Buoyancy and Density Lab for home, and please share us videos or images of other objects that you get to float.
Since the egg has more mass in a small place, it's denser than water. See? Sink. But we can change that. I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of salt. Into, add a little more, into the water. And then we're gonna mix it in, just like so. It's right here. And now we're gonna put back the egg. Weird. Still sinks, but we're just gonna keep on trying again. Alright. We're gonna add our second tablespoon. Put that in, and we're just gonna mix it up like we did with the first one. And we're gonna put the egg back in, and we're gonna repeat this a couple times until something happens. So mix it in just like so. And then put the egg back in, gently sliding it in with the spoon. Alright, it still sinks. And let's take it out. And we're gonna add more tablespoon salt. Tablespoon salt again. Alright, this is our third tablespoon of salt. Mix that in again, just like we do with every tablespoon of salt. Alright, there we go. And then put back the egg very gently, sliding it on the glass. And it still sinks. You can barely see it, but it still sinks. So we're going to take it out again. And get our 4th tablespoon of salt. Put it in, mix it up. You really gotta stir this a lot to get the salt to dissolve, so you want this to work. Make sure you got this really nicely blended in with the water. Anything that's pretty good. And then put back our egg. Gently putting it in. There we go. Still sinking. But we're trying to change that. Alright, put in our 5th. Oh, oopsies. I think this is our tablespoon. And mixing it up like we do every single tablespoon. You gotta make sure you stir this really well, because you really want this to dissolve inside of the water. So we're just gonna mix this up pretty fast. Alright, it's looking much more clear. Alright, put in the egg again. Gently putting it in. Oh, would you look at that? It is floating! Yay! The egg floats. Would you look at that? That's really cool. So just make sure when you're doing this, make sure you always stir. You want to stir the salt really well into the water, and then just gently put the egg. Make sure you don't crack it. And yeah, that's how you make a floating egg. And make sure, I did 5 tablespoons, might be less, I'm not sure. Every object has its own density, so we're gonna make this flow just like we did with the egg, and we're gonna see how many tablespoons it takes. So we have a fresh new cup, alright, water, and put it in there. Oops, sorry, let's take this out, sorry, I forgot to put, as you can tell, it sinks. It sinks. No salt in there. Just take this out with a spoon. Now we're gonna put our first tablespoon of salt. this is number uno, or one. Just like we did with the egg, you want to make sure you gotta stir it really well because you want this to mix in really well with the water. Get this first one really well mixed. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Alright, so as you can tell, it's still pretty clear. See, does it float? Oh, no, it doesn't. Alright, let's take it out. Alright, we're gonna put in our second tablespoon of salt. Alright, mix it in. Just remember to stir it in very well into the water. Alright, making like a whirlpool because I'm spinning this very fastly. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Put it in. Does it float? No. Okay. Let's try. Whoop. That's just no. Let's try our third tablespoon. I can still see some salt, so we're gonna have to do this third one. Very good. Alright, this is our third tablespoon of salt. Try to mix this one very well, fastly. You also want to try getting like scraping out the bottom ones because sometimes they're just like laying there, they're not being like disintegrated into the water, so you want to make sure whatever you're using to stir this is also getting those bottom ones and the top ones to make the water kind of clear. Alright. Just a little bit more. Alright, I say that's pretty good. I can still see a little like salt in there, but I think that'll be fine for now. Put it in. And would you look at that? It floats. So it only took us 3 tablespoons for it to float, and that's pretty cool. We made it float just as the egg, but it took less tablespoons because each object has its own density. This clip is less dense than the egg.
Alright, H-Teamers, I hope you had so much fun playing with all the physics experiments. Don't forget to share them with all our social medias.
Hey everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks!